Welcome to Lat B, the only podcast that comes with a free Bandits bonus.
Express delivery included.
Lat B, where MMA and UFC gets silly. This is the Lat B podcast.
Welcome back, episode 208, or 207?
208.
208, we get in there. We got another weekend without a fights, but we did have some CFF, we did have some other minor promotions, even some boxing going on over the weekend, so there was still a couple knockouts. PFL running 2 days in a row, having some of those big finishes ended up coming about, but here, as far as UFC, what we like to pay attention to, it was a little bit of a slow weekend, and hey, got to do a good amount of house stuff around. If you did the right thing, you did what Lat B was telling you, and you spent time with your loved ones at this little break and say, no, it's all about you this weekend. I don't care about fights. You can't make me watch fights this weekend. I'm doing it with you, especially for the Memorial Day weekend. Celebrate that time. But before we get into all that, how have you last been, Cheney, since we last met?
Nothing too exciting going on in my neck of the woods. I watched a really weird show on Netflix that I was actually thinking you guys might enjoy.
Love it.
It's called, Tuca and Birdie.
Oh, it's an animated show. I've been meaning to. I've been watching a lot of good other shows right now.
It is so stupid, but I feel like you'll even think it's funnier if you're a bird person, and I just know a little bit because you guys have a bird. I know a little bit about birds, but there's they'll be having a conversation like this, and then one of them will flip their head all the way around, or they'll just, somebody will be standing there, and then all of a sudden they'll be on one leg and, balance, and, it's just, bird behavior, but it's people, and the stuff that it's so silly and stupid. But let's see, two comedians. It's Ali Wong and who's the really cute Hadditch? Tiffany Hadditch. They're the two main voices.
Okay.
Anyways, check it out if you want to.
Here at Lat B, if you haven't noticed, we are a bird-friendly podcast, always having a little bit of background noise every once in a while. Eventually the soundproofing will get good enough, but that African gray likes to get down. So, with shows, I have to say, Big Little Lies. You told our fans quite a while ago, you guys got to get on it.
So you like it? I was unsure. This is why I told everybody, but I knew that your girl would like it more than you, and I was unsure if dudes would like it. So maybe you can reiterate if you think it's a dude-friendly show, because it is kind of...
All I gotta say is Nicole Kidman, not as sexy as she used to be. I just felt like alien, weird. I thought she had fake butt cheek implants. She's on T, and she got fake titties, because she's never looked like that, but... Her and Eric Northman's relationship was just weird. It was just creepy.
Does her body look like, remember when Marilyn Manson put that weird suit on where he
Yes, because she's never had an upper body like that, ever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's just like, oh, hey, look at me. And then her spider hands are all up in the camera. And that wig, I could not get over that wig. That was the absolute worst part of it. We did. We completely finished it.
And I guess they give away the ending in... It's a damn shame they give away the ending in all the
new for season
breakdown.
2.
It's a damn shame because I can't tell you how great, and I'm a person that's nerded out where I always can follow a show before it gets there. Sure. I'm like, oh damn, but yeah.
I felt like I called it.
Well, it was they showed it.
Oh no.
On the breakdown.
But I even called it before knowing the breakdown or any of that. I feel like earlier in the show I was like, oh, that lady's there because she already made the connection and saw him being the father as well as the one. No spoiler alerts on that one.
Well, I don't think it's a spoiler. They actually put the push in the season 2.
True.
Yeah.
As Elvis dives off of the ledge.
Yeah, and I even like how the villain in it, this is way too much talk about Big Little Lies, but kind of the villain lady in it, she ends up coming around at the end. She's part of the clique.
Yes.
Stupid.
A show that is a good one to watch, so definitely get around to it. Any other fun shows? We got fight news. Well, fight information to break down as far as UFC's concerned. We have had people rehabilitating, again, the knockouts in PFL. Do you happen to catch 2 of those back-to-back knockouts? One of them being of Jeremy Kennedy, ended up getting knocked out within like 30 seconds. The former UFC 45-50er was finished quickly, but that wasn't the only highlight for PFL. There was actually a couple knee finishes over the weekend. Did you see that 10-second knee finish?
Other fights were going on, but I didn't see
Not
anything.
even the GIFs?
No. Haven't even been on Twitter, really.
You were too busy celebrating Jeremy Stevens' birthday. Mm-hmm. Didn't have time to get around.
Today. I thought it was a good something to talk about today in MMA history, and we know it's Memorial Day, as coming up as well for the where they recognize it on the Monday.
Right.
So I was trying to look up what happened on May 26th in MMA history, but the UFC had that today was Lil Heathen's birthday. I figured, okay. But then the other thing, which I didn't know about, that I'm like, oh, you could probably tell me about it more so than I would really know anything, because I didn't watch UFC back when. But they also said that was the day that Rampage knocked out Chuck Liddell.
Wow. 2007, May 26th. That is a fun one. That was brutal knockout, if I remember correctly. Rampage it wasn't a slam, but it was also Chuck Liddell at the end of his career.
It puts you on the spot right here. I know, but even if you just remember how
I feel like it was a left hand, but it was one of those where you saw the Iceman just be like, oh, I remember making excuses like, well, it's Rampage Jackson. He's the strongest hitter of all time, and then it's like every fight after that, Liddell's just not even making it competitive in there. I don't think Rampage was even half to being hurt in there. Maybe Chuck flurried, but classic, definitely one that you should go back and watch if you highlight reels. This is on there. As far as knockouts, Chuck Liddell being one of those unfortunate souls that's on so many of those highlight tapes for all the wrong reasons, even as of late.
I know, it's a damn shame that Chuck Liddell's even fighting anymore. So other news.
Somebody who got on out of here.
Yeah.
Somebody who we've been criticizing for a long time. Elias Diaz, if you haven't seen, the main event himself, has officially parted ways. UFC gave him his whacking papers after Derek Brunson got through with him using a wrestling-based attack. And I feel like, as we were saying it, now that Brunson and all these other guys have started to figure out Elias Diaz, it means really boring fights, and there's no title contention there. So I think the UFC, as far as styles, it was probably better that they ended up getting rid of Elias. And I don't feel bad, because Elias is a ring boy, a model, sponsored by Pert Plus. He, more so than most fighters, has actually done a lot to get ready for this transition point of his career, and he doesn't necessarily have to fight anymore. I feel like he can walk into another even modeling or promoting agencies type of stuff. But conspiracy, Elias Diaz, one of the biggest proponents for cannabis use to help rehabilitate fighters, not CBD, which they just signed a multi-million-dollar deal, but actual flower use. So does the flower make him a little more? Do they also say, oh, another strike? Time to get on out of here, my friend.
Not at all.
You don't think it was?
Because look at the Diaz brothers. If anything, it helps their brand, and the UFC is trying to sign them to fights every other day. True. I just think Elias is boring as hell. He's so boring in there, to have a guy that rushes straight forward and like a Derek Brunson, and to still pacify that to make it a boring fight. What else can the UFC do? They've tried everything to make this guy exciting. There is no title contention, but people are like, well, he's on a win record. I don't think that really matters in the UFC. I don't think it's just about belts and win records, and it also has to be a good matchup that people want to see. And if you're a guy that's kind of a runner as your fight style, it's a hard sell.
It's definitely really tough. And there used to be Dana White, when he was more vocal on Twitter, he used to, the guy who fought Nate Quarry, where Nate Quarry did the infamous punch you through the arm, hand cover in the face move. It was because the same thing. His opponent didn't want to engage. Dana White cut him after that fight. He's like, we don't want dudes that do that. We want guys that square up and fight. And for the people that are saying only striking, Damien Mine has proved that if you can finish people on the ground, you will have a job in the UFC.
And the ring card, boy, I don't think that is cool. I think it lessens his fighting stock, in my opinion.
It is a little novel. It is a little novel, just kind of.
It would have been novel if he did it one time, haha, joke.
Yes.
But doing it every time, it just...
And it just can't be Elias. You got to start a league. There's got to be other ring boys. And just like Ariane, like she shares the mat now time with all the other ones. So you got to be having ring boy tryouts all over. I'm just saying, you got to give me a little variety.
And
Elias
you know who else
nice.
is not cut, but there was rumors that he was cut?
Who's that?
Justin Willis.
That's official.
Well, they said he was cut, but then he said, "No, I'm not cut. We just had a little
dispute.
We had a little dispute about my next fight or whatever, but everything's all good. I'm definitely with the UFC." It sounds a little like
he wasn't willing to take a fight,
or either and they were like, "We're done with you too."
Yeah, and he's like, "Hold on, I am willing. I was just saying, maybe not on that day, maybe another time." And they're like, "Nope, that day." All right, I'll see you guys.
That's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant.
I mean, I'm gonna figure it out.
Justin Willis as well. I guess that I was like, oh, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. It's crazy. The people that the UFC's cutting, in my opinion, not sad at all. Not sad.
I wouldn't be that. Feel that bad about it for sure. But definitely, if you didn't catch some of the grappling going on over the weekend, we had Uriah Faber coming in against. I can't remember the young man's name.
Oh shit! I can find it out for you.
No, it's
right there.
It's not Gary Toden's little brother. It's not something Toden. No, it's Cornelius.
No.
Kennedy.
Danny Henry or something. I'm making that up.
I know. It's a jiu-jitsu champion's little brother who's 17 years old who decided to take the bout with Uriah Faber in the organization. Nicky Ryan. That's his name. Nicky Ryan. It's right there. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's right up there. See, look at us. We're so silly.
The younger Ryan brother, 17 years old. But for a 17-year-old coming in against 40-year-old Uriah Faber, Faber came in all sexied out on them little boy shorts and definitely put it to the young man. But the 17-year-old, the fact that it went to a draw, I believe there was no submission. And really you got to see in the match the frustration of Uriah Faber being like, I can do it. I can come back. Because hasn't he talked about UFC returns already?
Yes, he definitely has.
He's saying, I'm feeling good for this grappling stuff. But I think what he's going to notice, if they feed him these 19, 18-year-old kids, which he used to be able to beat, now him at 40, and with the evolution of these guys, they're surpassing his skill ability. But it's because of Uriah Faber. He laid the foreground to be like, you guys need to wrestle and box. Uriah Faber's that. Like, he's a quintessential boxer-wrestler who actually mixed in some elbows and stuff.
And he gave little guys inspiration to make him like, I can do this.
Exactly.
I can do this too.
So when Nicky Ryan was 8 years old, he was watching Uriah Faber and practicing those moves instead of having to learn them on the spot. So I'll credit Uriah Faber, but...
They said Uriah did everything but, like, close hand strike the kid.
Did you see it?
No.
He slapped the daylights out of this kid. I mean, like, in wrestling, you can put hands in the face.
Like, the ref had to stop it.
Yeah, the ref actually warned it and was like, hey. And everybody was making fun of it. It was a flat-out open palm strike. So, It was fun. Definitely watch the series, grappling series, whatever you can. Flow Wrestling out there. All those good sites, if you want to catch any of those grappling events. They're always going on. A lot of national wrestling tournaments as well.
This I just put up for updates because I figured people might, Khabib, Dustin. It's really the biggest fight Cowboy Tony is the biggest fight right now.
Right.
But in talks, Khabib Dustin on the forefront is a super hot fight, and it's unbelievable. And the more I think about it, it's really and you were saying something about Khabib.
So what's happening with Khabib, and we didn't touch on this, but it happened right before our other show aired. So I think we were on air as the news was breaking, but officially the UFC cut the sanctions of Taisugov, whoever his buddy was that jumped in and punched Conor.
Oh yeah.
So instead of the X amount of time, they reduced that time frame for 35 days because Khabib said from day one, the second that my comrades get a freaking fight in the UFC is when I come back. Until then, I will not fight in the UFC. So by the January timeframe, or the actual timeframe of they want to make this fight, they shortened it to 35 days. They didn't just say, all right, ban lifted. They gave Taisumov a 35-day sentence, not a 30-day, 35, because it's literally to the day of the fight. So Khabib will be able to fight that day. But everybody knows, as far as the commissions and the UFC sanctions, they're trying to save face, but it's fairly transparent. Like, oh, so you're going to do favors for that belt. You're going to do favors.
So anything that the UFC wants, it's kind of like, or that anything that Khabib wants right now, Khabib gets.
It's happening. I feel like it's happening, and it's just more proof that all these belts and all these phony things, money can be shared, money can be moved around. There are people that transcend the sport, and it's been proven with Conor, Khabib, Jon Jones. We moved an entire fight card on a day's notice for Jon Jones within the physical year. That's unbelievable for the type of organization that we're here with. But it's the poison that I like to drink. Like, it is also it's my Achilles heel. It's my greatest strength, and my worst enemy is the UFC.
I wanted to just also say a little update about Dustin Poirier that I don't know if anybody else has watched it, and I know we have a lot of B-Shop haters, but you know I love the B-Shop.
We got both sides here.
He does Food Truck Diaries on YouTube, and it's a good 20-minute watch, and he gets really in-depth, and they're really cute because he is a big softie. So, like, I recommend my favorite one up till this point. I really love the one with Tatiana Suarez, and he echoes a lot of sentiments I feel like a lot of fans have about her. Like, you're a future champ. This is so cool to be with you here and knowing you're going to be there, and, you know, kind of thing.
Wow.
Over to Dustin Poirier, though. The one with them, it'll choke you up. It'll touch your heart. They go into it, and Brendan gets a little touch because he's like, whatever happens with Khabib, man, just know, like, you're there. Like, getting that fight with Khabib, and, like, you've succeeded, and, you know, everything that's gone on and how long we've all been watching him in there.
Yep.
He says that his girl drove him to his first fight when he was 18.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's super touching. It's like giving it away, like spoiler alert, but some people probably watched it, but she told him that day, you're going to be a world champ.
Yep.
It made me like, I'm voting on Poirier. I'm like, I feel good about voting on Poirier. It's his story, it's his legacy, but you know I'm a Khabib hater. But
you just got to watch. I've said it before here multiple times. That is a good watch. I haven't yet. Because I'm a little haterish. You know me. Yeah. I drink that haterade. But for DP, I will be mailing to make it. It's been floating around on my feed like, have you watched this? Because it's been getting a lot of hits. But all you got to see is the debut for Dustin Poirier against the number 2 ranked Gillespie. Star-studded performance. It is unreal. That day, I became a fan of Diamond Poirier. He had a couple issues, but he's since gotten those out, and he's living a champion life. It was a real honor and pleasure to meet him and get a picture with him.
Yeah, I almost put those up. I was going to be off it, but I was like, we'll save it for fight week.
Definitely.
We'll save it for when he's fighting Khabib.
I did say, hey, champ, thank you very much. I've been watching you since Fightville back in the day. And he was actually like, oh, dang, you've been watching for a while. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I was like, the fact that he even acknowledged, like, because anyone who talks to him about that's 11 years ago. That was his first documentaries. Yeah. I was like, who is this kid? Holy shit.
I know.
This
like
kid's a little fucking
when
beast.
I first met Jennifer Love Hewitt, I was like, I love you on Kids Incorporated.
And she knew. She's like, oh you're a real OG. You know G. You know G. For sure.
Yeah, but the more you just look at this matchup, and I know we'll get so in depth, we might even have one whole show on this fight on Khabib versus Dustin. But
sure.
The more you look at this matchup for real, Dustin kind of has almost the perfect thing to be Khabib's kryptonite.
Yep.
Takedown defense, cardio, and killer jiu-jitsu. He's
powerful hands. That's the thing. People don't understand how powerful DP is.
So, yeah, I just thought it was little update. Why not update on big fights as they're coming in, since it's an off fight week, and why wouldn't we?
I don't know if it matters that much, but he's a powerful southpaw, so that makes him just a bit more dangerous against Khabib. But southpaws have tended to be a bit more dangerous. That's just coming off the cuff right there. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, but we didn't get to see it with another southpaw we know, whose name will not be mentioned this show. I don't know if it will. It might be.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a matter of time, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so other update of other big fights. I didn't know if, have you heard anything about Cowboy Ferguson? And I can't believe.
No, just that it's still on the way. That's it.
I just can't believe it's coming up.
Oh, okay. We got some fun fights on the way, but definitely that's the most profiled fight. That is.
I just can't believe it's happening so fast.
Agreed that it's like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But is it so fast? It's been 1.5 years since Tony's fought?
Has it been? He fought Pettis.
But he broke his knee after that. And then he got the knee surgery.
No, he got the knee surgery before Pettis, right? And then came back, and Pettis was his first fight back after the knee surgery. And everyone was really nervous about the fight, and everyone thought he would got takedown, but he finished it. It looked like he was all bloody, but
he got kicked in the leg. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it has been. Yeah, it's only been X amount of months, but.
For Cowboy, it's only been a month?
Yeah, but that's
how he rolls.
Look at that kick. And you saw Cowboy come out of that fight. I mean, he had a red nose, if that.
Yeah,
Al didn't really do much to him at all. So I could see a quick turnaround for sure in there, even if though it was a 5-rounder. And again, that cardio might help out the fact that he already just went 5 rounds. Other news, other fights, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, fights that might have been signed.
Is there any, let's see, what's this? Oh, do you have any thoughts about his fight and the setup of his career? And by his, I mean for our audio listeners, Sage Northcutt. He got busted. He had his Uriah Faber was saying his face was in more than 30 pieces.
Oh, I heard 8, but I'm sure.
Maybe it was just an exaggeration.
But I heard 8 pieces, but it was not attached, and they needed to do surgery. I have seen a much more updated photos than what's going on up here on our screen, which is him directly after surgery with an eye patch on. But
he looks fine. I've seen him in his robe at home, and I'm like, how did they do all that reconstructive surgery inside?
That's what I think. Is it back behind his ear? Or, like we've been saying, it could be that.
I've popped his eye out. And worked, and then put his eye back in?
I could totally see that. Lappy conspiracy. The T1000, Sage Northcutt. Been saying it for a long time. You can't get abs like that for no reason. He's the ultimate soldier.
I almost think that shot was friggin' brutal.
Oh, yeah, brutal.
Crushed his face, but does anything make your bones weak about performance-enhancing things?
Yeah, no, not that I can think of. I don't think if anything you get denser. If anything you grow more, your bones get denser, but so do your organs, so that's why you get them beer bellies with that HGH.
What do you think about his career from here? Do you think there is much of a career for Sage from here?
I think it is because he still got paid more than he ever has, and he was a well-paid UFC fighter. But now, as far as and with the sponsorships that he can have on the side, you're big in Asia, you getting paid. People go to Asia and make bank, and he's the type of American heartthrob, blue-eye, blonde hair movie.
Do you see him fighting anymore?
Yes, but I think that he takes much different opportunities now. Now he's like, 3-time world Muay Thai champion. Maybe I don't want to fight him. Japanese guy or Asian guy coming in off the street with a beer in his hand. Yeah, let's sign that. You're gonna give me $100,000 for that? Yeah, let's go.
Do you think he has piss poor management for setting up that fight to begin with?
I think they do. I think that was way too of a high of a step up.
And you probably know a lot more than I do about who did this to him.
Cosmo Alexander? Yeah, he's a Muay Thai champion, kickboxing phenom. The thing with Cosmo Alexander is that he's 41, 42 years old, so he's out of his prime, but he's an old crafty vet that is what's this young kid gonna do to me? I've seen what this kid, he's just explosive. The
route to victory for Sage, I kept hearing in this fight, was for Sage to drag him down. And then if you think about Sage or know anything about him, that's not what he does. He's not.
He's a kickboxer, exactly. So, he's a karate Kyokushin guy.
It seems really shitty, and I feel like could we as fans out there maybe put a little heat on yes, there's matches that come up for the UFC where they want, they always say, the best things happen for the guys that take the fight. The best things happen for those guys. But you know what? It's not up to the guys to say whether or not they take the fight. They need to have good management that says whether or not they take certain fights. And maybe eventually, obviously, you don't want your guy to never fight a ground specialist if he's a stand-up guy. That would be silly. But maybe you do want that to happen for his first 4 fights. You know what I mean?
I
It just
totally
seems
agree.
like maybe these guys need better management. And so maybe as much as Ali Abdelaziz, he seems like the only one that we're noticing. But some people say, I keep hearing now Tony Ferguson's manager is like an
Malky
MF.
Kawa?
Yeah, people keep saying he's the best.
Yeah, we've been
he's
saying
better than Ali.
I've been on that Malky Kawa and the Malky brothers as well for a while. They have done it with less fighters, but they've gotten a lot of big results from them as well. Or they've made a lot of landmark paydays. It other than Ali, it's the Kawa brothers. But yeah, I would agree with that. They're probably at the top. But as much shit as we give the rat face, Ali Abdelaziz, all of that trash talk we do, he does make good deals for his own fighters. And if you are somebody wanting to be represented, I mean, you're gonna want to work with Ali, because even though he might take a little extra percentage off the top because he is who he is, you're still getting paid 3 times the amount you would with a lot of other generic managers out there.
And with Ali, do you think Henry Cejudo will end up being his golden boy over maybe Khabib?
I think whoever is the champion the longest is going to be his golden boy. I think that people are like, oh yeah, remember I got him from the back, this and that. They're managers. They're managers. They're going to go with the goose that's laying the golden egg. And eventually, once these guys start to fall off, they will eventually be like, eventually we had differences, and, I wish him luck and I wish his family luck. But
boom, done.
Exactly.
Boom, done.
Because it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a fucking business. And if you don't think, look at the FBI files, tell me it ain't a motherfucking business.
True. I know. I think there's new stuff about where Ali just said something about Khabib with the Chechen dictator.
Oh, yeah. That's some scary stuff.
I'm like, whoa, that's too deep for...
That's deep.
That ain't Game of Thrones.
That ain't Lappy friendly.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends if we're on that conspiracy episode. I know. I can't believe we're going to bring up Uriah Faber again. Like, this is the heaviest. It's a slow fight week, everyone.
That it is.
So I thought it was funny that Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw will return to the UFC a beast because he's an intelligent cheater. Is an exact quote, which I feel like you would agree with. He's probably a really smart MF, and we know he's a cheat.
Yep.
And then the other thing that he said, Uriah Faber on TJ Dillashaw's USADA ban, he's a master of turning himself into the victim. So...
kind of spot on there, Uriah Faber. So I'm going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but I'm not going to dispute his claims at all whatsoever. I'm just like, but it's a business as well. It's all a business, and cheating, whatever. Again, TJ Dillashaw could have been cheating, but guess what? Those paychecks stay in that bank account.
And another thing about Cynthia Calvillo, speaking of Uriah Faber again, did she leave Alpha Male?
I haven't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that eventually get away from Alpha Male. And we've talked about it before. It's because Uriah likes a lot of control, and he usually does a lot of the management as well.
And he does this shit. He is end up talking about TJ in the hospital room of Sage Northcutt. That's kind of like, come on, dude. Put your ego back in your chin cleft and let's move on.
Uriah Faber is a master of understanding when a camera's on him and him optimizing his stake at all times. We constantly talk about Uriah Faber, or he gets brought up because he keeps his name in the box or in the hat.
Publicist,
exactly.
or he is his own publicist.
Exactly.
He's probably a good publicist for his people.
He has his own clout, and he's gotten a lot of people there. But eventually, what happens, and it's just the tried and true thing, is that TJ, all of these other guys start to get fame. They start to get paid more, and they want the percentage to go down because they're making a lot more money. But no, if anything, Uriah wants a percentage to go up because now he's helped them get there. And they're like, wait, I'm the one who's fighting and training. And he's like, oh, well, all of our gear and whatever.
Yeah. Well, we give you fight. We have to pay for your sparring partners. We got to bring in the head coaches for your camps. We got to fly out more than, because the UFC only pays for 1 or 2 coaches. We got to fly out the other 2. That we got to put them up in a room unless you want them all in your room. There's
a lot of ways.
There's
a lot of ways around it. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully, people start to. I think people have. We're not the only ones talking about the alpha male issues.
I think a good camp matters, though. I think a good camp matters. You got to pay somebody. I think being a lone dog isn't the only way.
That's where I also think with alpha male, what a lot of these guys do is they'll go learn the knowledge for 2 or 3 years, and then they're like, all right, deuces. Because once you learn it, you're like, all right, I can implement this to the other camps, and now I'm going to go back to my... a lot of people have been doing it with top team where it's like, all right, I learned the skills. Now I'm going to go back to my gym and specify this to me. And look, now we can train like world-class
Do you think
training facilities.
Alpha Male was way better with Bang Ludwig there?
Yes, but that was 2 Rams knocking heads.
Who else does Bang have now, if not TJ? Who else is he training?
All of the train systems, a lot of those TJ systems, they use that Bang Ludwig system.
No, but I just mean what are his fighters right now? Because Bang Ludwig he has his own camp in Colorado.
Yes.
And the training lab is TJ's camp out in California. So does anyone fight out of Bang?
I feel like TJ still claims Bang. I want to say Stevens as well. All those just crew around that are usually with him. I want to say Curtis Blades is a Bang Ludwig guy as well. He's a heavyweight. Yep, I feel like he's Ludwig as well.
He's a Bang guy, not a training lab guy. Because that's going to be my new question for you. Anytime we talk about people training with TJ, I'm going to want to know where. Because I don't like the training lab people anymore. You usually know it.
I usually do. But it is.
That's what we hear. That's what we ain't here for my quirky little remarks.
Well, I'll look for it for sure. For sure. But unfortunately, we got to go into the deep news. The post has been up here on the monitor for a bit. We have Cowboy Alex Oliveira being wanted in, I don't know if it's Brazil or the States, probably Brazil, because eventually he took off after beating his ex-wife, punching her, pulling her hair, and then driving off with a 5-month-old drunk without a helmet. For who, the 5-month-old or him who didn't have the helmet?
Maybe put the helmet on the 5-month-old.
There you go.
Because I always got Cowboys back. That's horrible. I'm just kidding. But his camp denies reports UFC Alex Oliveira being sought after alleged assault of ex-wife. So his camp's denying it right now.
But they would. A good manager would be like, hey, we don't know. We don't know.
Is Ali Abdelaziz?
He is not.
And, the other thing, could it be anything like, I believe, it sounds like something I don't even know him well enough to say it sounds like something he'd do. But, didn't BJ Penn's wife falsely accuse him because it was a custody battle something?
Yes, but this is Brazil. And Alex Oliveira has 5 baby mamas. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if that makes him a better or worse person, but
it's them dimples. It's them dimples.
He is definitely a wild man. We've said it for a long time. Bull rider, fighter.
His camp they can totally deny it because in Brazil probably different shit goes.
Oh, for sure.
They probably won't even make it the news. They're like, oh, that's Thursday shit.
But Oliveira's been asked to not come back to camps because he just gets after it too much, or he gets out and likes to party. And
doesn't it just gets crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's Oliveira is known to be a wild man. I don't like him because of his work outside of the ring. Again, when we're in the cage, that's when I'm trying to make money with Oliveira. Outside of that, maybe I'm gonna be like, all right, wave at him, be like, all right, buddy, we good. Maybe I'll buy him a beer from a distance and be like, thanks for the fights, but not necessarily someone I'm gonna put in my inner group from the stories that I've read.
In your favorites?
Exactly. Well, fight style, definitely one of the favorites, one of the classier ones. Always. Just that Perry fight we ended up watching was a contender for the year matchup. It got a little sloppy at times, but still such a fun fight to watch.
Perry, let's see. Is there any... No, that's the 12 years ago in MMA history. Is it going to go back through every one?
Oh, man. Learning all of the new graphics, but
shit. But wouldn't it be... I know. I wouldn't even mind, now that we're doing this and we're using the graphics a little more, I'm like, I don't even mind this style of MMA news.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Because usually the way I get my MMA news is like, booms, and it puts up a Twitter, like the same kind of stuff,
right.
And no one's chatting about it.
Right. No one actually breaks it down.
Sometimes I need things that are audio so I can like do dishes and have my TV on.
Totally agree.
And so having to just read people's tweets,
I
wish somebody was reading it for me a little bit.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, so maybe are we on to something? I know, is it going to Sage Northcutt again? And I probably could fast forward it and stop it, but I just want to know if it's going to get to. Sorry for our audio people. But I wonder if there's any audio people out there that still don't, they're like, I don't know what these people look like.
Yeah. Let us know. Comment.
Oh, yeah, this is what. Perfect.
We have Rafael Assunção coming in against Cody Sandhagen August 17th. Where is this going to be at in August? Honda Center?
Honda Center, UFC 241.
Pay-per-view. That's going to be an amazing fight. The only unfortunate thing is Rafael Assunção, we've said it here for a long, long time, he's kind of one of those guys who makes styles look really slow and boring. So as excited as I was for Lineker Sandhagen when we watched live, this one is fun, but it's not really that exciting. I guess the only person I really see, well, a Sun Tzu can finish you. Maybe I should be a little more hyped. I'm excited for it, but I'm not.
Don't you feel like a Sun Tzu is number 8? Like, when you think of number 8 in UFC, don't you feel like it's a Sun Tzu? Like,
agreed.
He is that guy.
But he's 2, so it's like, of course.
I know. It seems weird. So it's time. If Cody wants this top echelon, in my opinion, this is the guy that he kind of needs to get through and get his name up there with the big dogs. It should be Lineker, but it's just because of the move up of Lineker. Like, if it was in the lower weight class, Lineker was the guy. If it wasn't Mighty Mouse, it was Lineker.
Yeah.
But I think now at 135 they're at, right?
Yep.
I think that's a killer fight. I didn't even know that was coming.
That is a fun one.
I was like, ooh, I know he's one of your favorite fighters, so, or at least a guy you like, and a guy you think like one to watch.
Definitely somebody.
He's not quite. Do we ever know when what's his face is gonna fight again? Your Nardiev?
Yes, he's in about it, and I feel like it's coming up this weekend.
Oh, is he on the Anthony Smith?
Yeah,
Right? Oh,
Gustafsson fight card over this weekend. No, he's a favorite.
Oh, damn.
He's a decided favorite.
Damn.
But yeah, I feel like I just was like, oh, that's my boy. There's my boy.
Everyone knows that. I know, and I can't wait because we haven't picked a new Usman yet.
Truth.
We know Tatiana Suarez is our new
Sure.
Shevchenko, and we still somewhere on here may have a picture of little Shev. Maybe we'll have a little
I'm wrong.
frame. Not this weekend,
Not
but
this
it's probably
coming
soon.
up weekend. Yes, it is soon. I just saw his name though on a fight card. But
Yeah, this is just Tony. I put up something. Ain't no clowning around, you fake fuck. At Ali Abdelaziz. You better leave my name out of your mouth before I mop the mat with your sorry ass. You ain't shit without your homeboys, you snitch. No pride, no guts. Just like your paper chump at Team Khabib. See you in person soon. And they're still talking shit to each other.
Wow.
I love it. I love
Me
that
too.
Ali is like, even if he's saying anything to Tony at all, I like it. I like that Tony, because whatever goes down with versus Dustin Khabib, I think Khabib could get past, or Dustin could get past Khabib.
yeah, I think so. I agree with that.
So.
I agree with
I
that.
never would have thought so before, but I do. I like
never know.
everything. How good he looked against Max. Jesus, man. That he could potentially be the best 145er of all time. I thought that's interesting. Shiata. It'll be nice also to have different fights up here with our fighters. Weights, stats, and maybe we'll do it a little different for you. We'll have a little meeting with all of our producers and decide, yeah, we might have length, we might have reach, we might have weight, but some things you don't need. If it's a weighted bout, why are we going to waste weight? You know what they have to reach. So I think there can be certain things like you might find interesting in fights like top 3 weapons or something.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
we'll figure out something cool to do with it, especially for the pay-per-views, and then especially for the pay-per-views, but maybe everything else at least we could do the main card or work in, so we use the TV in a fun way and make it. I think the odds will be fun.
Yes, agreed.
Something that I'll even throw out if we end up stealing it, but we may not. I love that and I do think I could set it up too. I love that the MMA Weasel does like the actual odds and then his odds. I think that would be fun.
We always say our odds. We're always like, we feel like this is off, guys. We feel like this should be more here.
Yeah, maybe we don't need it up here, but it would be kind of fun. I think I could put it like the actual odds, E's odds, C's odds, or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we do appreciate that you guys don't mind our growing pains all the time. And I hope you're not mad that this episode's going to be kind of short compared. We've got you spoiled. We've been hitting you with like, here's an hour, here's 2 hours, here's an hour 45.
Complacency kills. Complacency kills.
That's it. So thanks for listening once again, and we will see you guys with a breakdown. Well, we have a breakdown on Wednesday.
We do have a breakdown on
All right,
Wednesday.
well, we'll see you with that.
Love you.